Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Citizens of Lorcana podcast, a podcast where we invite you to be a part of their world. We're your hosts, Jared and James. Today we're talking about location, restocks, and reprints. So without further ado, let's jump into the episode. Hey everyone, welcome to another week. Last episode we were joined by Eric Schweitzer of The Gamer to give our live reactions to Set 3 news drops. For those of you who listened to that, like, those were our live reactions. We got up early for that one. Anyway, so even though we had been talking about it on Twitter and stuff, that was our actual first exposure to it. Anyway, so if you didn't get a chance to check that out, make sure to go back and listen to it. Today, we are joined by none other than Ybreezy, the Kuzco #1 fan himself, to talk about this news. First of all, welcome. And secondly, tell us, where does your username come from? I've wondered that since the day you came on the scene on Twitter.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I am the big Cusco guy. And then the name Ybreezy actually has a fun little story. Originally, I'm from New Orleans. And when I was about I want to say 10 years old, the New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl. And the city was rejoiced. It was crazy, and it was about the same year that I got my first username, which was Ybreeze9, uh, after Drew Brees, which was basically our god at that point.
Makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, and
You're
then
welcome, by the way, from the gift from the San Diego Chargers.
bad shoulder. Sorry, just it is what it is. Y'all said bad shoulder, and we took him, and rest is history. But after that, I took that with me, and then it just kind of transformed into Ybreezy. I was just like, rolls better. I like it more. So Ybreezy got stuck around, and then here we are.
Nice. I like it. And when I was looking at you when you first came on the scene, this is not your first. Well, we're going to talk about your content creation journey, but
Sure.
this isn't your first foray into content because you were making Pokemon content first, weren't you?
Yes. Initially, way before that, it was like other sports games and stuff like that, and then eventually turned into Pokemon, which was my collection and everything else in between. I started playing that game initially, but I kind of had a fallout with the game just because I was the way the game played wasn't what I wanted to do forever, and that's kind of where I kind of fell apart. And then this game came out, and I was like, I like Disney. One of my favorite movies of all time is Emperor's New Groove, and they released a card, and I was like, I will do whatever it takes to be playing this game, and here we are.
So I'm guessing that that's basically, is there anything more to your Lorcana journey than just like, oh, it's Cusco, I'm in?
To be honest, yes. Just because I wanted a new card game. Pokemon was in this situation where, the post COVID, it was just like super basically just everywhere. The product was kind of slowing down, and I was just not enjoying it. And I wanted a new card game, and Yu-Gi-Oh was something that I was looking into dabbling, and it just didn't click with me. Magic the Gathering also didn't work out, just because I it was just like 30 years of catch up that I just couldn't do, and because of that, I just wanted something new, and I guess stars aligned perfectly because Disney was like, let's make a card game, and I was just following it slowly and slowly, and they came out just about the same time where I was kind of done with my Pokemon journeys, and Disney took over.
That was one of the things that really attracted me to it, as well as this opportunity to get to it on the ground level.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I used to play the Star Wars Decipher card game way back in the day. There's a community out there that's still playing it, and I interact with them on Twitter. And every so often, they're like, "Hey, you should get back into it." And then I look at the rule book; it's like 146 pages of rules, and yeah, I can proxy all the cards and stuff, so that's not an issue. But I'm like, that is too much for me. I'm not gonna say it's too complex, but I don't want to put forth the effort to learn all these minute rules where I can start with Lorcana and just be that well of knowledge going forward.
Exactly. Something about playing with vanillas for the first couple of sets that's just super magical, you know? Playing the one drop with no effects.
Lorcana's
Amazing feeling.
wardrobe. That's
Exactly.
right.
It's just so
Flounder.
cool.
Team
Oh my God.
Flounder.
There you go. Yeah, there's just something magical about like starting with that and then watching it evolve.
So I know you do a lot of live streams. In fact, I tuned into one of your live streams last night. Sounds like James tuned into one of your live streams tonight as of this recording. How did you settle on streaming on Pixelborn? And I'm just curious, did you try other forms of content creation before settling on streaming?
Uh, for Lorcana specifically, I wanted to just play the game as long as I can. The game was really fun. It is just so perfect to play while stream because you do your turn and then you can take a little moment to interact with the chat, talk about random things while your opponent does other things. So I think for me, it was just a perfect fit because I go on tangents quite often. I'm loud, and it was just perfect for me to do that through this through Twitch. I wanted to do shorts initially. I did some of that, just didn't like it. So I wanted to play the game as long as I can, with even with a busy schedule. And because of that, Twitch worked out perfectly. And Pixelborn just happens to be the best client for it at this point. And I do also appreciate the creator of it and everything that he does for the community as well, alongside his charity work and everything else in between. So that just kind of, again, just stars aligned where there was a perfect online client for it. And I was able to download all the pictures for the cards and load it up and press go live. And that's kind of been the start of it 2 months ago. And people like you've been more than kind to me, and it's been going great. And I think the only issue with it is that we don't have a category yet where it's just Disney. So all of the fellow Lorcana Twitch streamers are kind of separate and like spread apart. But other than that, I think it's the best way to do it, and it's been interactive. And I honestly love every single second of that streaming Pixelborn.
Well, the thing that I enjoyed about watching your stream and watching your streams in the past is just the level of energy that you bring to it. I mean,
Oh,
you're like the complete opposite of me. I am not very emotive, not very expressive. Um, but I'll be honest, when I was watching live, I don't know how you can like focus and concentrate on the game. Like I'm so focused on the chat that I'll be honest, like I was barely even paying attention to what's going on in your game.
that's kind of what happens. I don't know if you saw, but like I forget the mulligan quite often. That's kind of a theme for the last 2 months. That like the game will start. I'll have my 7 cards. I'll click the buttons, which all of the ones that I want to mulligan, and like someone will say something about a movie, a Disney movie, and then we'll go on a tangent for like a minute, and there's a timer, and all of a sudden my hand is just 6 uninkables, and now I'm like, oh well, we're gonna just play, and so on. It just goes on forever, and we lose some games,
Yeah,
but
no,
we
I
gotta bring the
remember last
energy.
night there was a point where everybody was like, "You forgot to use the flute."
Yeah, flutes complete. Just sometimes, whenever those conversations happen, the flute kind of gets a backdrop. It happens. I lose games because of chat quite often, but that's okay. You know, we're having a great time. It's just a good time. Energy's good, upbeat. If I lose some games, it's okay. I'm a bronze in Pixelborn because of that reason. But it's just part of it.
You just got to get up to silver so you can then lock it, and then
Just
and then
get
you just
locked in, yeah.
got to lock in, and then you don't get back down to bronze. So you can say, "Hey, at least I'm in silver."
One day I'm just gonna lock in, like I'm gonna have one of those tunnel vision masks on and just play the game for like 6 hours while the chat's going to prove a point that I'm decent at the game.
No, question for you before we move on to the next one. When we had Eric on last week, we were talking about specifically the data that comes from Pixelborn and how it's not truly reflective of the reality of the meta. Do you feel like do you go play at the local scene?
Yes, I was just at my league before this actually.
So do you feel like playing online prepares you for the league? Because I mean, specifically one of the things I'm thinking about is on Pixelborn, you're not able to play best of three. It's just best of one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Interestingly enough, some of the local scenes do best of one, which I personally not a big fan of. But I don't think the Pixelborn mirrors it to perfection, just purely because there's just something magical about having, a person in front of you, having that conversation and playing the game as well. But also, there's some crutches that Pixelborn provides, like the being able to do the math instantly by just looking at your lore. And I think utilizing that in Pixelborn and then going back to your locals, that does see a lot of like mismatched math that happens in IRL that I catch and win games through. So one of the things like Pixel for when it comes to like Pixelborn, I always recommend people to not use that to get that translation kind of going in, so they have to do the math, so it actually helps them a little bit. So I don't think it mirrors it to the point of like, oh yeah, if you do well in Pixelborn, you're gonna do well IRL, but I do think you'll get a good idea what your matchups are going to look like, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of I've been like reading some things on like Discord and on Twitter, and it just feels like, some people are like, well, at my locals we had a lot of people playing popsicle decks or something like that, and it's like basically Pixelborn just feels like another region, like it's like a really big local
Right.
where everyone is playing a certain amount of decks. It's just there's more of them, and they're more of the straight meta decks, but it's still just another local essentially. I mean, I go to my locals and it's like playing on Pixelborn, unfortunately, because everyone's like, like I gotta win. So
Right,
there's
right.
there's not as many of the like, oh, let me play my deck full of Frozen characters. Like there's not a lot of that. So
With Pix, yeah, that does happen as well. I try to make fun decks like that on Pixelborn where I know I can't bring it. I made mono green just to prove a point, and it wins games. But like you can't bring that, and that you can have that fun on Pixelborn that you won't be able to do in locals, especially if you're like there's an entry fee in most local tournaments, and you don't want to do bad just knowing that your deck is just bad. So because of that, there's a competition level that rises from it as well. But there's Pixelborn tournaments too, but it is similar, like you said, where it's like it's its own format, it's its own locals that you can kind of take away a little bit of information and then bring it to your own locals that you can go to.
all right, so let's get into some new Lorcana stuff. We're going to talk locations. So, Jared, last time you mentioned when we were talking about it, we had no idea how locations would work. We had guesses about it. And then, like, the day our episode dropped, of course, they did a Q&A. Steve Warner was like, here's how everything works. So let's cover real quick how locations work, since we didn't talk about it in the last episode. And just real quick on the card layout, if you're looking at it horizontal, top right is the ink cost, just like a normal card. It can be uninkable or not. On the middle right is the willpower, just like our characters. It has a willpower for how much it takes to banish it. There's a lore symbol. That's its lore. And on the left side, instead of whatever we thought it may be, one of us might have guessed this, but the number on the left side in the middle is how much it costs to move a character to this location. And then the lore is earned during the set phase of your turn. Whatever lore you have on hand on a location, you earn at the beginning of your turn. That's a bit for locations. There's a lot of little details like characters at a location. When a location is banished, they just drop off. Nothing happens to the characters. There's going to be special abilities on characters that deal with locations. There's going to be locations that have special abilities that help your characters or your lore or whatever it may be. We don't know because we haven't seen any other locations except Forbidden Mountain. So that's the basics of locations. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to mention about locations, like that, like the actual like technical aspects of it before we move on to let's talk about locations?
I think the biggest one I do want to mention is like you can't banish it with cards like Be Prepared. That's a
Yeah.
big deal. I think that's going to make a big impact on how the game is going to go forward. I think that's a big technical one that I do want to pinpoint.
Yeah, they did make a point of saying that they put wording on the cards from the beginning where they specifically call out characters so that they can't affect locations. And as an aside, let's talk about that, about how they planned this in advance. So, I mean, this really feels like why we haven't gotten comprehensive rules, right? Because the game wasn't finished.
Yeah, definitely.
If they plan locations out and they weren't like, well, we can't have locations until set 3. We can't release comprehensive rules that mention locations with set 1.
I mean, this is something we've speculated on since set 2, wondering why. I guess we're in set 2. Since set 1, wondering why there weren't comprehensive rules. And yeah, I mean, that's something that we figured was that the game wasn't complete yet, but still, there's no reason why they couldn't have released comprehensive rules for the mechanics that were already introduced.
Yeah, I think they could have done in a sense of like chapter 1 rules, chapter 2
Exactly.
rules. Like,
Yeah.
the small interactions that made a little bit of confusion on some people, maybe addressing all of it and then addressing the chapter 2 issues and then location problems. I think that would have been a little bit more fluent.
Yeah, but then without any actual competitive circuit, official competitive circuit, they're like, do we really need to? It's like, we kind of need them. I mean, otherwise you're going to get questions every day, all day long from people asking about interactions and all those kind of things. So, yeah.
So now that we know how locations work generally, is there a specific type? This is something I asked on Twitter too. Is there a specific type of location ability you guys would like to see?
Yes, I want locations that are negative to my opponent. Like the one that I was talking about earlier was like Beast Dungeon, where you can force a character to go there and like they can't challenge, they can't quest, just things that might, you can stick a character in there and they're kind of trapped in. I think that would be a cool dynamic, and I think there's a lot of Disney locations that could offer that.
I would think it would be something like maybe the Arendelle Forest, where when this location comes into play, at the beginning of the turn, exert chosen character each turn, so that the location basically, since Arendelle was in a giant winter, then you can have, like the freeze action, you can have a freeze location. So something like that, because you can't have your opponent's characters at your location. That they clearly stated that, so it has to be something that affects it, like like the Jolly Roger that they mentioned. I think they mentioned the Jolly Roger in the press release. You would assume that is going to have something like evasive, because it's a ship that moves around, and it may have cannons built in. So at the beginning of a turn, deal 1 or 2 damage to chosen character at the beginning
Could you
of each
imagine?
turn. Something like that. So yeah, I totally would love to have things that affect your opponent's character once per turn using that location.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll just add more into the options that we have that are like damage based, slowing down opponents, and I think that that's something that I would like to have, because with locations, there's a fear of speeding up the game a little bit, just because they are they give you lore as they just exist, and I think that might speed up the game a little bit. And for that reason, the locations should also offer slowing down of the other characters, other cards in the game as well.
This is never going to happen, but my dream location would be uh characters at this location are not affected by Be Prepared. Other board wipe options. Oh,
I think there will be one. Honestly, I think there will be a location like that, but then maybe they'll have to do some kind of limitation on it. Like it'll be a very weak location.
Yeah.
It'll have very low lore. It'll just have the one lore, something like that, where it's a protective shield for however long it lasts, 1-2 turns.
It's that one ruby amethyst traumatized me. That's all I can say.
Maybe one day we'll get like an indestructible keyword for like, a couple of turns, maybe. Like these people can't be touched. And then just I think a keyword would help with that as well. But again, we don't know what the future of this game is going to look like, keywords, stuff like that. But I think keywording would be nice to have with industrial, like undying abilities.
I'm trying to think of one I would love to see. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it much, but something from the Goofy movie. Like the
Lester's Possum Park.
Yeah, Lester's. Yeah, something like that.
Ooh.
Something fun.
Concert stage would be cool too.
Yeah.
Lake Destiny, Idaho.
Just Idaho in a location. That'd be cool. Okay.
It really would. Okay, I'm from Idaho, so the fact that Idaho has mentioned that movie automatically made it one of my favorite movies as a kid. There's no actual real Lake Destiny, Idaho, for the record, but still, it's cool to have it mentioned in there.
Wow. I always thought it was a real place, but broken dreams right now.
You're welcome. That's what we do here.
Speaking of places that we wish were real, now I know, Ybreezy, you would love to see Kuzcotopia, but do you want that in the game? What do you think it would be?
Just give me my utopia, please. Disney Lorcana created, please just let us have it. It could do anything. It could be vanilla. Anything. Just optimally, I would like it to just have Cusco on location, which is give everyone ward. I'll be happy with that. That'll be optimal. That'll be great. It'll be funny, like flavor wise, to have a location that you can play over it, because in how he wants to create it over somewhere else, so you can kind of make it cheaper or something like that, where it's like a shiftable location.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's a far-fetched dream, but like anything, I will take. The ward would be the most like understandable, because like he doesn't want to touch all that stuff. It's fitting, but just anything, I will eat it up. It'll be great. We'll be loud about it. It'll be awesome.
I would personally lead the bandwagon for you to get that card reveal too. Like that card is the perfect one for you.
I just, it's the dream. That is the goal and the dream. To the card's existence is all I want. Who really reveals it? That's up to the Disney Lorcana, but I just want the card. That's all I want. I want my emperor with his throne where he belongs.
We'll see.
It's coming. I'm manifesting it so hard on a daily. Like the moment they announced locations, I was like, they're the only one. The only one I want. Please just make it happen.
What about you, James?
Or Yzma's lab.
Oh yeah, that would be perfect. What about you, James? Any dream locations?
Oh, geez. I mean, I think we're gonna have to get Elsa's ice castle. I think that would be pretty awesome, especially if they. Oh man, that one's they do that one. That would look awesome in foil. Yeah, I want that. That one would be something like that. Is one where the negative effect thing might happen, but on you, where it's like maybe that's the one where it has ward and all your characters have ward and evasive, but they also get like 1 damage per turn. So while you leave them there, like they can't get touched essentially, except for direct challenging, but they also get a damage every turn while they're protected. And it has like 2 or 3 lore or something like that. So it's a really awesome location, but it's like super weak, high lore, and damages your own characters, something like that. Because it's ice, you're gonna freeze.
Yeah,
Well,
Gizzy could.
Ravensburger, if you need a game designer, we got one right here for you.
That would be a great idea though, because like super powerful, but it hurts you slowly but surely.
Yeah.
It makes sense flavor wise too. Like it's
Right.
perfect.
I'd have to go. This is never going to happen, but I'd love for the rides at Disneyland or Disney World to have locations, if they were ever to do that. But more realistically, I want to see the Lion King locations. I want to see Pride Rock. I want to see where Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba live. The Elephant Graveyard, where Scar is. I mean, there's so many iconic locations, and I mean, it's not just Lion King. There's so many movies with so many. The Jolly Roger, obviously, that's already going to be one. But the possibility of locations are just. I'm not good with game design like you guys are, but I am in love with the potential that locations have to change this game.
Possibilities are endless at this point, especially with how big the Disney IP is. There's movies that are like maybe won't ever even come out the first 5 years, and after that will come out. Like the biggest thing that I would want location wise, like the dream future thing would be alongside Cusco Topia, obviously, it would be Halloween Town. Like that's like just I would eat that up. Everyone would it'd be amazing, but who knows? There's so much to do, and like that's they not maybe not even on their list right
And you don't
now.
even and the crazy thing is that you can do Halloween Town and or you can do every single building and location in Halloween Town, you know, about all the different things. I mean, you can do so many different things in every single movie. Like,
Yeah,
you mentioned the Lion King. You can just do the Pride Lands, and or you could do Pride Rock, just the one rock, or you could do the one little location, one little spot where, like, the
Rafiki's
cliff.
tree.
Yeah, Rafiki's tree. All these different things you can do. So they're not limited. Just like with Dreamborn characters, they're not limited by just using the character once. They have all the Dreamborn and Floodborn versions. The
Bloodborne
locations.
Pride Rock. Here we come.
Here we go.
it's just a floating rock this time.
Space Pride Rock.
Space rock, yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Definitely a lot of options, and it's just the beginning. And I think they're teasing that as well. It's just like there's so much more. Get ready, kind of thing.
Yeah, so for those of you listening at home, leave a comment sharing your most desired location or location ability. Uh, do you want to see do you want to see a floating space rock?
The answer is yes.
Anyway, now we can't finish the podcast without talking about product availability. We have been beating the drum since before the game was released that things were going to be scarce. Like they told us that from the beginning, but still people complained. I mean, it's like knowing you're going to get punched in slow motion, seeing it there, like, it's going to hurt. It's like, it's going to happen. And we've been beating that drum. I know it didn't make it any better, but still miraculously somehow Ravensburger managed to get reprint out this month, which is like near impossible to get a printing time 2 months early or whatever. But I have to ask you guys, have we turned a corner? I've gone to Target 2 or 3 times in the last week, and I've seen product there. I've seen product at Barnes and Noble. I've seen product at my local game stores. Not a lot of it. Like the first time at Target, yes, there were sleeves and sleeves and sleeves. But the fact that I've even seen product, it feels like we turned a corner. How does it feel like that to you guys?
It's Christmas. It's fantastic. It's the most beautiful thing I've seen in a long time. Packs are fruitful in Walmart's, Targets, anywhere you see. There's availability at least. Obviously they're slowly selling out, but like 2 weeks of a week or two it being in the store and then selling out is that's fine. Like that's okay. And then it'll get restocked within the next week or so, and then we'll go cycle out. It's fruitful. Kids are able to have it, which is like the best case scenario. People can open packs just for fun. You can walk into your Target, do your Target run where you say you're gonna get a bottle of milk and end up with like 6 packs, other random things you don't need.
Guilty.
Um, and it's just like it's so perfect. Yeah, a lot of people are complaining that the no product, but they also have to do a little bit of a test run too. Like they can't have product die on their hands as well. It's just one of those things. So I think we're entering a phase where we're gonna have product easily available, and now it's kind of on the consumer to make sure that we're loud about, hey, we do want this, keep it coming.
Yeah, keep buying it. I mean, I actually don't need any more product for the first time. I can actually say that. It's so weird, but I mean, I'm gonna buy packs here and there. If I find a trove, I'm buying it. Just because it's a trove and there's 8 packs in there, and I've had good luck pulling good stuff from troves before, so why not? Why not have an extra storage box?
So are you
So
telling me your collection is complete?
it is not complete, but it is very close. I am missing 2 cards from Rise of the Floodborn, and I am
Like,
missing like two scars. That's all I need. 2 legendary scars.
so you have 4 of everything except for Scar.
I have 5 of everything
Oh wow.
Ooh.
except 2 scars. So my master set is put away, and I've got all my play sets. And for the first chapter, everything's done except for 10 foils.
Wow.
Wow.
Now we're not counting the enchanteds. I do have some enchanteds, but those are I don't count those as, because they're just so hard to get. Those will come with time. But yeah, I am this close to being finished. So I don't have to buy like booster boxes anymore of either the first chapter or Rise. It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I've got about 100 cards to go till I'm at that point. But I want to circle back to something Ybreezy said. You were talking about people complaining. And this was something I was complaining to James about. So Knives from Knives Nerd Corner put up this meme where it had the guy with the 2 buttons, and it said complain about there being too much product, or like the game's dying because there's too much product, and the other one was the game's dying because there's no product. Maybe they were switched. Yeah, so I've noticed that people complain when there was no product, which I get. Like, I was there. Now that product is available, there are people complaining, oh, there's product, but there's not the product I want. I want a trove or a D100 set, and there's none of that there. And then there's also people complaining that, oh, there's products sitting on the shelves. The game is dying. Like, hold on, people. Why can't we just like not complain? And I understand. Like, this probably falls into 2 groups of people. You have the players, the ones that are complaining that there's no product because they want it, and they're complaining because they want the troves. Like, the troves are so handy to store cards in. And then you have the collectors and investors who want to sell it and flip it. But have you noticed this complaining? And does it frustrate you as much as it frustrates me?
Yes. The collector's standpoint is something I just kind of ignore at this point, because like this is a card game. We're supposed to open it, play it, have fun with it. Investments, yes, you can do that. Like you've seen that in Magic the Gathering with the 30 years after, but it's gonna take years to do that. And it's silly to assume that we're gonna just immediately flip, make thousands of dollars, millionaires, whatever they want to believe in. So those people that are saying, oh, it's dying because my product is declining, those are the people that aren't playing the game in the first place. And unfortunately, like they are buying product, but like they're not playing it. So they're not necessarily like part of that I show up to league every week community. And it's hard to satisfy those guys anyway, because they're just caring about the dollar sign of their card value. They don't care about what Tinkerbell does. They don't care about any of that stuff. They just look at their TCG player value, and that's it. So with that, like that's their game is dying argument is silly in my opinion, because it's being more available and deck prices are cheap, which is the biggest point I want to make with that. Is like product is coming up. We've seen Rapunzel hit $50 to 30 right now, and there's already discourse on other card games how expensive their card game is right now. The meta decks you can buy about $200 to $300 for a meta deck and play in tournaments and compete well. And compared to other TCGs, that price point is in the median where it's okay to do that. And yes, that's a pricey point if you look on the bigger picture. But if you want to compete or do well in tournaments, that's the price point in any card game you're going to play. It doesn't matter what you're doing it's the between $100 to $400 range. It is just that. There's budget options and all that stuff as well, but product availability is bringing the $600 decks to that $200 range, which is where you want to be. And I think that is where the game is right now. We just need people to keep playing the game and keep that local community alive. And the complaining of the product not being available D100, that one's a limited edition thing. They announced that long time ago. We knew it was going to be hard, and that's unfortunate. But there's just not much we can do about the shiny
Honestly, though,
illustrations.
I mean, if you want the D100, you can get it pretty easily now because Disney dumped so many into the market at the parks. And I mean, and then on a few of the retail, the big box retailers, I went looking today just because I knew we were going to be talking about this, and I looked on eBay, and there are actually people who I think it's some of the people who bought them to flip them. They are panic selling, and I saw some listings where like 3 D100s went for below retail.
Beautiful.
So I mean, they're panic selling. They're just letting them go. Who knows if the people actually sent them, or if they canceled the sale, or whatever may happen, and on that if they didn't get enough money. But the fact that people aren't paying the exorbitant prices and they're readily available on the resale sites, but not for like massive prices, like the Rise of the Floodborn Trove, you can pick up now on like eBay for like $70-$75, which is way better than it was a month ago when they were $100, $120, $150. So, I mean, the prices are starting to come down across the board. As you mentioned, singles have dropped as much as 75%, which is crazy to think about. Like 3 months ago, we, like I said, we were paying $50 for a Rapunzel, and now you can get it for $25. It's crazy.
Oh, I mean, first of all, I was just on TCG Player, and yeah, the D100 sets it says as low as $62.99.
Yeah.
But speaking of singles, I keep track of what the single prices are for my collection, and I hadn't updated it for like a week or two. And so when I went to go update it, it's like everything was at least half of what it originally was. So my like total I needed to get 4 of everything went from like $1,200 to $600. Like, you know what? This is actually seems doable. I mean, and I pulled like, an enchanted Pete, so I used that as trade bait. Granted, the enchanteds also went down in value, so he got less, but I mean, everything was less across the board, so it equaled out in the end.
Except Sad Beast. He's still expensive.
So good. That card's seeing the most play, and it's just like, the other legendaries dropped, so it's unfortunate for you. That's the only one that's just staying sturdy at that $30 to $25 price point.
That's my white whale. I can't pull him.
He exists, I promise.
He does. He does. He's very sad. He's hanging out on his balcony.
Very sad.
He's just waiting for me.
But
sad. I do have my Amazon middle of the night order box coming on Sunday, so fingers crossed.
I have mine coming next week. I actually canceled one of them because, like I said, I don't need product, but I wanted to have one just to keep, put it into my collection, put it away, one of everything, just set aside, just so I could look at it and be like, look, I have a collection. But yeah, I mean, and talking about all the prices coming down and how, you track the pricing. I mean, if sometimes, you can get it in your head, like, look, I have $1,000 worth of cards here, and then a week later I have $500 worth of cards here. That can mess with you a little bit or make you feel bad. But, you have to look at it from the flip side. It's like, I have the cards. I can go play. I can build any deck I want if you've put together a play set of everything. And the value is, yes, you would like your cards to be worth something, but there is more to be said for something beyond the monetary value when you're playing the game. So, you don't get too wrapped up in the fact that the price has dropped in half, because you still get to go out and play the game every week at your local game store. You can still build any deck you want to go play with and play at whatever style or whatever you may want. So keep that in mind. It's not all doom and gloom. So
investments are not dying. You get to have your fun. You get to play the game. It's okay. Let more people come to your locals, play more games, and have more fun. That's the end of that day. What we want.
Yep.
I have to say though, like just like Eric said last time, I am enjoying Rise of the Floodborn, but I already want to play with DuckTales next set. Like, I already want locations. I want it so bad. Is it February yet?
Almost there.
They're,
Almost
they're
there.
they're making us wait so long after showing it to us. It's like it's 3 months away. People, actually, it's only 2 months away, but 2.5 months away. But whatever. It's 3 months away.
Too long.
Too
Let us have
long.
locations. You want them now. Can't.
Alrighty, shall we move into the ending segments?
Sure. Do we have a Lorcana lexicon this week?
I think we're at a point where we are gonna draw a close to the Lorcana lexicon unless we come up with something that needs to be addressed.
If you ever have a question about something that you heard or seen and don't want to ask publicly, then just send us a message. Say, hey, can you explain what this word is? And we will talk about it on the podcast.
Yep.
News bits. Well, the only real news bit was we talked about, of course, last week was Into the Inklands was announced, but we did get a new card that was just revealed yesterday. Was it? Or was it this early? I mean, time has lost meaning again, but we got a new card. I've Got a Dream. It's a song from Tangled. It's a 2-cost inkable ruby with the ability ready chosen character of yours at a location they can't quest for the rest of this turn, gain lore equal to the location's lore. That's a good card.
Yeah, Sheer Con players did a little dance when they read that card,
right?
That's for sure.
Yeah, get ready one for some more challenging. Get some extra lore. I mean, what's not to like?
All right, Ybreezy. I mean, you do a lot of gameplay. So, what combos are you thinking of with this card?
Give me Share Con. Give me the con combos. Give me my combat challenge players. Give me the steel. I mean, let's get a little rogue action here. Let's do like a steel ruby where you can stack up some resists, ready things up, gain some lore. I'm assuming we're gonna get locations with like more than one or two lore as well. So with that combination, you're getting like 5 to 6 maybe lore in a turn, which is really solid. So I think with anything with challenge bonus, the scar, we can do the scar, we can do. I mean, he already readies up, but you can even get more out of him. You can do Shere Khan, like I said. You can even do Hercules to pummel more people. Just more challenging.
Aladdin Heroic Outlaw.
+2, -2. Get that lore going.
Holy
Make
cow.
a big distance. Yeah. A lot of challenge is going to happen with that card if it sees play.
The one that somebody
it's inkable. I think it will make its way.
Okay. Yeah. Any inkable card, you're already like, oh, should I play this card? So definitely.
The one that somebody was pointing out to me, or that they were talking about in the official Discord chat, was combining this with Christopher Robin. I mean, quest with Christopher Robin for 2, use this to ready me up. And then if you have 2 characters on the board, you get another 2 for readying him up. And then you get the lore from the location. And then, I don't know, like if you challenge with Christopher Robin, then ready him up with something else, like this
Shield
has the potential, Shield, LeFou, Fanning the Flames. This has the potential to generate a lot of lore without attacking your opponents too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I like my combat, so my immediate meat brain went, let's attack people. So
Hey, I have to tell you, this was something that I loved when I did my Lorcana Rise of the Floodborn draft. I had on my table Shere Khan. I had the Queen of Hearts that lets you draw a card whenever one of your characters challenges, and then I had the Emerald Relentless Beast, who whenever he challenges a character, readies up. And I had Popsicle and I had a Gumbo Pot. I mean, So I was just
Wow.
using Beast, and I would clear boards with Beast, heal him up with Popsicle and Gumbo Pot, and I was gaining lore Shere Khan. Like it was a thing of beauty.
Shere Khan Unlimited is phenomenal. Also, fantastic draft, by the way. The list of cards you just said, that's
It was pretty good.
amazing. That's
Plus, I got
great.
two Cinderella Stout Hearteds. Yeah, it
Oh my
was
gosh, yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, and this is not news, Lorcana specific related, but James and I are coming up on our 1 year of podcasting together. So we're putting it
Ooh.
out there right now that we are doing something big for our 1 year anniversary. It'll be December 29th or 30th. Details will be announced. Just keep your eyes out.
What could it be? I wonder.
Wonder. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, are you ready for some Jeopardy?
As much as I can be ready, yes. It's
So,
midnight, so we'll see.
um, you're the Emperor's New Groove guy. So I got you some Emperor's New Groove trivia here, okay?
I cannot fail this. If I do, it's gonna be rough.
Got to
No
turn in your
pressure.
Kuzcos.
I mean, there's a couple of tougher ones on here, but I think you'll do okay. So, are you ready for
Yes.
100? This is what creature Yzma is turned into.
What is a cat?
Ding, 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 ding. Okay. For 200, Kuzco wanted to destroy Pacha's house. Is it Pacha?
Pacha. Yeah, Pacha.
Pacha. Kuzco wanted to destroy Pacha's house to build this.
What is his pool house?
There you go. Ding, 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 ding. Summer house with a swimming pool. All right, so far so good. For 300, this is how Yzma and Kronk get to their secret lair.
What is pull the lever? Pull that lever?
That is pull the lever, but what is the mode of transportation that gets them there?
Oh, water ride. The roller coaster.
It is a roller coaster. Yes.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Here's where it might get a little tough. For 400, this is what Yzma had stuck in her teeth.
Uh what is lettuce? No, it's a leaf. It's a green leaf. It's right here.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Ding, 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 ding. Um, the website that I went to just said a green glob, but it definitely was a vegetable.
Yeah.
Okay, for
Bob,
500, this is the best way to eat a hot and crispy pill bug.
What is with a lemon? No. Ooh, he slurps it up. Ah, how does Pacha eat it? Oh gosh. What is with a straw?
Through a straw, yes. Five for
Boom.
five.
Let's go. Okay, see, this is why we watch Cusco Gaming with Ybreezy. Okay, this is what we offer.
You are the emperor of Emperor's New Groove trivia.
nice. 5 for 5. We don't get many of those.
No, we really don't.
Let's go. Throw a straw was that was a tough one.
But you pulled it out there. It's like it was sitting somewhere in the back of your brain and you
Yeah,
just had to pull it out.
I just had to see the scene in my head for a bit. I was like, I saw he does like a little sprinkle on top and then just like eats it with a straw. I was like, yes.
I'll be honest, I watched it a couple months ago and I can remember that.
I've seen it too many times.
How many? Roughly.
I stopped counting long time ago. It's been around for too long, and it's that and Monsters Inc. They just play forever. So it's yeah, hundreds probably.
So why I know we're going on a tangent here, but why Emperor's New Groove?
It's actually a little bit deeper than what it is. A little life background story. I'm an immigrant who had a decent kind of high rank lifestyle, and then I got kind of we moved to the lower income areas of New Orleans. So I kind of had to go through understanding what privileges I had and learning all that into kind of understanding being generous, understanding, humbleness and all that stuff as a kid into growing up and understanding like, life has a lot of different layers than you think, and that, you have to be nice to everyone else and kind of be understanding of everyone's situation, because what you want might harm others, and you got to understand and create empathy. And I think that kind of made me understand that a little bit as well in my own life. And that kind of, I see Kuzco a little bit in me, and like that's why it kind of always made me love him a little bit more.
Not gonna lie, that's like one of the coolest stories I've ever heard. I mean, Star Wars is like my favorite movie, but I just like it because it's cool. I mean, the story that you had behind that. I mean, I'm gonna think of you when I watch Emperor's New Groove next time.
There you go. I mean, I don't, at this point on X Twitter, I don't even have to say the card name to know what I'm talking about. So like we're getting there.
No,
Trying to
no,
edge my
I posted a deck profile. I was Emerald Sapphire, and somebody's wanting help with it. There was no Cusco in there, and you said, "You know the card. You know the card."
exactly. It's like come on.
All right, so wrapping up here, Ybreezy, if people want to connect with you, what is the best way to connect with you?
Best way to connect with me is gonna be x.com/ybreezys. I'm the loud Cusco guy. You've probably seen me already. If not, hit that follow button. And if you want to see me live, go to twitch.tv/ybreezy. I'm live every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays from 9 p.m. Eastern time to midnight or so on until however I pass out. We're loud, we're energetic, we're having a good time, and I would love to have more people there to kind of share that energy.
That's impressive that you stream that much. That was 4 nights a week that you're streaming? Three?
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then surprise weekends. So it's three, sometimes four, and it's post work, post gym. We're always hype. We're always energetic. That's the brand we offer here.
No, and that's exactly what I said. I mean, you bring the energy not just on your Twitch, but also on Twitter. I mean, I've been around Lorcana Twitter since the beginning, and I can tell you that the energy that you bring to the Lorcana scene on Twitter it's very welcome. I love it.
Well, you guys are stuck with me, so
All right. And if you liked what you heard, you can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow us on the podcasting platform of your choice. If you want to find me on the website formerly known as Twitter, you can find me at Citizens of Lorcana. And James, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere at Dan Regal, and you can check out geekshotphoto.com for social media and photography links for my wife and I. And thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.